So from which part of Poland are you calling us right now?
I'm calling from Warsaw, so from the capital.
Oh, from the capital.
Yeah, I'm looking in front of the window and there is a snow, so I guess in Spain there is much better
Yeah,
weather
yeah.
than in Warsaw, but what can we do?
It's still cold. It's still cold, but yeah, it doesn't snow right now as it is in Warsaw.
Yeah,
So Sebastian, we are really glad to have you here at Diario As. We are very pleased to have a conversation with you.
my
Well,
pleasure.
I mean, you are an author and you are right now like we can say like the artist who have written a biography about Robert Lewandowski, who offered an image about what Robert Lewandowski, a more personal detail, what people don't know about him, right?
Yeah.
So, first of all, I would like to ask you, Sebastian, like, how did your access to Lewandowski and his environment work and coordinate well during the research process?
To be honest, when I start to work on my book, which is Polish name Lewandowski, Prawdziwy, this is the book. I hope that soon will be also Spanish edition. I was working in kind of secret because I was thinking that it will not be good for book if Robert Lewandowski's people, let's say, will know about this project because then they could try influence a bit
Yeah.
on my speakers, on my sources. So that's why I was keeping this just for myself, and I was like really patient and slow and careful, let's say. But after 6 7 months, I decide, okay, it's enough. I have already 160 speakers, so the book is too big to fall, let's say. And I can speak with Robert and with his crew. We had a meeting in Warsaw. We I explained them which kind of project is, and I said, this is like up to you if you want to be part of it, and if you want to show to the world, to the Poland, to Poland and to Europe your point of view without influence on the things which gonna be in the book, because it's my project, not yours. Or
Yeah.
you can say, okay, it doesn't matter for us, and at least they decide to be in a book, to show their perspective, to show their point of view. And in my opinion, it was really adult, because at least Robert Lewandowski is someone who has right to speak about himself as well, and about other people and about other situation. And if 250 sources, because it's number of people which I spoke about Robert, they are in book, he has fully right to be this number 251 and set his version of the story as well.
Mhm. I would like to ask you two things because I would like to remark something you just said about the title of the book, which the translation would be Lewandowski, the real one, right?
The true
Approximately
story, yeah,
the
the true
true,
story, the real one,
the real one, right?
the real one. This is like a perfect translation.
Okay. So what part of the story made you feel that the world still didn't know the true Lewandowski? And also, you just told me an important thing about how did you speak with Robert Lewandowski environment? Do you think that Lewandowski liked the project because of your big influence in Poland as an author, journalist, and all your projects based on writing?
From the very beginning, I remember our first meeting. It was in Casteldefels,
Hmm.
and when we shake hands and when we start to speak, it was a little bit cold between us, because he had no sure that it will be a book which he would like to see, because I was independent. I wasn't in some business relations or emotional relations with Robert. Of course, I was following him almost
Yeah.
20 years, but we were not friends. And in our story chapters, there is a chapter when we didn't speak like almost 10 years. So it wasn't Robert was not confident that
Yeah.
it will be nice book. And this book is not pleasant, is real, because Robert, this is kind of man at who we were looking for this numbers of years as a for monument.
Yes.
Someone who is kind of superhero, uh or robot,
Yeah, he's
or
an icon.
machine.
He's an icon,
Yeah,
right? In Poland
yeah,
and almost worldwide. Yeah.
yeah, but at least he's a human being. And it was something what was really important for me to see, to show his advantages and disadvantages, to his pluses and minuses, his good sides and bad sides, because it's like in life there is a day and there is night, and it's like absolutely regular, and this is not something which should be a surprise for us. And the same with Robert. Of course, we knew so well his professional side of life, and it's bright, of course, but there is also human side, and he has bad days, he had disadvantages, he had some conflicts, he had moments when he was not nice to people, but for many years, I don't know why, but people were afraid to talk about this. And I said, it's enough. Robert is finishing his professional career, and I think that we are looking at his last 2-3 seasons in professional football, and this is perfect moment to show his real face, because first of all, I think that supporters deserve to know their hero, and I have a sentence which I really like: good footballer deserve for a good book. So yeah, and you said on the very beginning about the title, The True One. It was the most important thing for me. It wasn't a picture of a good man or bad man. It should be a picture of the real one man. And I really believe that the final version of that book, this is something which I had in my mind from the very first day.
As you said before, Sebastian, you were distant with Robert, but still you had very clear your goals about writing this book, right? But still, did you expect it would uncover so many internal details or stories from Barcelona and Bayern?
You ask me what new is in that book, and actually, I have feeling that on each single page there's something new. And I remember my meeting with mother of Robert Lewandowski. It was during game Poland against Holland, and she was already read some chapters, and she said, "Whoa, there was so many new things for me." So I said, "Okay, if for someone who was that close of Robert, there was some new details, some new stories, it means that for regular supporter, regular reader, it will be like much more this spicy things, let's say." So I'm Polish, and this is my base. I'm living in Warsaw, and I'm working here in Poland. So it was so obvious for me that I will have a really strong sources here in Poland, and they will give me a lot of nice stories. Some of them I already knew, but the real challenge was to convince people which they were not my friends. We were not working together as presidents of Bayern, of Barcelona, as Xavi, Thomas Müller, Kingsley Coman, etc., etc. And it was first time when I met those people, and my challenge was convince them to tell me something new, something spicy, something interesting, not bad or good, but something interesting.
Yes.
And and I'm really proud of it, because when I was looking at some comments after some article which were published in Germany or Spain about my book, like about the story when the management of Barcelona asked Robert not to score into last games of his first season. And there was many comments like, "Hey, how it's possible that some journalist from Poland, he came to Spain or to Germany and he found out some stories like this." And it was a reason to be proud, and I felt proud because of this. But it would not be possible without good people, open people, nice people, honest people, which I met. So from this place, I would like to thank them, because at least as it's in our business, 100% of stories is from them. So my job was just to let them speak and make the good atmosphere during our interview. But without them, this book wouldn't be in that level as is right now.
I mean, the let them speak part you just said, I think it's important because did you fulfill your challenge, at least like searching about something new, not spicy, but something that can be catchy for the reader, right? But
Yeah.
I would like to ask you something because you just mentioned about the scoring goal clause about Robert Lewandowski with Barcelona. From your perspective as an author, was sports integrity compromised by asking a player not to score goals? What do you think about that issue, about that clause? What's your personal point of view?
Of course, when I heard first time about the situation, it was a bit surprise for me because this is not something which happening every day and
Uh-huh.
everywhere, especially in such a big clubs as Barcelona. But I'm a realist, and I remember the financial situation of Barcelona those days. It was crazy. The Laporta has a huge challenge to keep this club on the highest level. From financial point of view, and Robert Lewandowski transfer, it was a crazy challenge for them, and this is miracle that it happened. Xavi told me I didn't believe that it will happen until he came to Barcelona, because it was like a dream because of the financial issues. And I understand a little bit Barcelona because they were already champions. Robert Lewandowski was on the top in Trofeo Pichichi race. There was a two last games, and the still financial situation was horrible. So they say, okay, if we can keep some money, like more than 2 millions, let's do it. But I don't. First of all, because I had many questions with Catalonian media. As far as I know, it was not Laporta request. It was a people from management. There was a few people from management who spoke with Lewandowski about this. The second thing, I don't believe that Robert took it to his heart, because he's a shark, is a goal machine scorer.
Yeah.
So I think that he was just listening this request, and he was surprised as well. And he said at least, okay, yeah, of course. But I remember those two games, and he was doing everything to score those goals. But still, football is not a fairy tale. And sometimes some things are happening behind of the curtain, and supporters are surprised. But if you are in this business such a long time as I am, some things like this it's just happening. But what is the most important in that story for me, that no one said in Spanish media that it was not true. I never found any sentence of someone from Barcelona that is not true. And yeah, this is a story. This is a story. And if you're asking me if this story is it's something which I'm blaming Barcelona's management, to be honest, not that much, because if you are in financial trouble, you are looking some safes everywhere. And at least what we need to remember, in the third season, Robert scored more than 25 goals, and they paid this bonus to Bayern Munich, because even Uli Hennes is saying in my book, it was the most amazing gift I could have from Robert, this 2.5 millions, which Barcelona paid after third season.
I'd like to ask you, Sebastian, even though you just told me it was a complex story in the transfer and everything about the financial situation, Laporta, the management, but there is a point I would like to ask you clearly, is about how would you define the real relationship between Lewandowski and Xavi Hernandez? Like, would you say it was rivalry, wear and tear, or a simply clash of leadership styles? And as you said, it was a hard transfer. It was a complex. There is a narrative behind it. So how do you think that influenced Robert Lewandowski story in Barcelona?
So first of all, the most important message in that book is that Robert has winning obsession, and this is absolutely crazy. It's not only on the pitch; it's everywhere. Playing cards, playing ping pong, or whatever, and to understand some his moves, some his decisions, some his sentences, we need to still remember that he has this winning obsession. So the beginning of the relations with Xavi was good. Xavi was one of the 2-3 persons in Barcelona who decide to take Lewandowski to the club with Laporta, with Mathieu Alemany, and with Jordi Cruyff. So, you know, he was someone who was calling him, who was pushing, and they had some meetings, and Robert said, yes, you are the man which I would like to work with. And remember, the first season was really good. They won championship, and Robert became a best scorer in La Liga. So the beginning was okay. And then something changed. Robert has some, you know, problems with the way of physical preparation and with level of staff, of Xavi staff. So with this winning obsession, he started to complain like, hey, we are doing this on the wrong way. Look, this is not good enough. You know, remember also that he was 12 years in Germany. So the German style of physical preparation and the Spanish style are completely different. And, you know, he started to complain. And Xavi, he was not reacting. There was no reaction. So Robert complained more and more. And at least the end of the second season, in my opinion, there was a lot of bad emotions between them. Because first of all, we remember the results of Barcelona were not that good. Second thing, I think that Xavi was also tired because of this, you know, all the time speaking and complaining from Robert's side, not only to him, but also to member of board. And Robert was tired because, you know, he had a bad season. The team were not playing as he wanted. And in my opinion, if Xavi would stay in Barcelona, it could be a huge problem for Robert Lewandowski. And in the book, I'm speaking with Laporta about this, and Laporta is admitting me that, you know, yeah, actually, the fact that Xavi left saved Robert Lewandowski in Barcelona, because Hansi Flick came and he gave him a second life, a new spirit in Robert Lewandowski. It was an amazing season with championship, with semi-final of Champions League, and the second best scorer position after Kylian Mbappe. So I'm sure Robert has nothing against Xavi as a human being, as a person. Probably if they would meet one day, they would, you know, shake hands and, you know, speak about a life and drink wine, and would be really nice. But in job, you know, there is no something like personal emotions to someone. There are just professional emotions. And in Robert's point of view, Xavi was not a coach who could guarantee a success. And in his opinion, he couldn't guarantee anymore. So, in this case, we had in Poland as well, and it was in Bayern with Ancelotti or with Kovac. He said, okay, we need to change a coach just to start winning. And this is typical Robert Lewandowski. So if we will take this situation just out of context and we will speak only about Xavi, we could have feeling that, you know, maybe there is something bad between them or there are bad emotions. But in big perspective, in big picture, this is typical Robert Lewandowski. He did the same with Jerzy Brzęczek or Michał Probierz in Polish national team, with Carlo Ancelotti and Niko Kovac in Bayern Munich. And he did the same with Xavi. So yeah, this is the reason of this kind of behavior. The reason is the reason of those behaviors. This is this winning obsession, because he wanna win.
So I would like to ask you something, Sebastian, is about the winning mentality of Robert Lewandowski, and of course it may have too many influence. How would you define right now the winning mentality of Robert Lewandowski adjusting to Hansi Flick coaching directions and mentality? How would you say the chemistry is between Hansi Flick and Robert Lewandowski? I mean, they've known each other and all that, but still, how would you define that?
There are two sides of that relation. The first side is if you know the story of Hansi Flick. Of course, he was not such a famous footballer as Robert is, but he was always full professional. When friends were asking him go to party, Hansi said, no, I need to take a rest. If they were asking him, okay, let's drink 5 beers, he said, no, I will drink a glass of wine and I will go take a rest. And this is same with Robert. So this mentality of Robert and Hansi is similar. And I'm sure Hansi is full of respect to Lewandowski because he's the same kind of guy like Hansi was as a player. So I'm sure the very beginning of conversation about Robert and Hansi, it should be about full respect from both sides. Second thing is football. And Hansi Flick is a winner as well. This is not coincidence. He won everything with Bayern and he won almost everything with Barcelona, and he still want to win. So if he see that, you know, Robert has some physical problems or some technical problems, or he's not available for 90 minutes anymore like he was in Bayern, he is making some moves which, you know, is not nice to a footballer with huge ego like Robert is. So if you're making substitution, you know, for footballer is never nice. But it doesn't mean that there is something bad between them. Just, you know, there are two big egos, as I said, but coach has his own plan and footballer has his own plan as well. So, you know, sometimes if you are looking at face of Robert, you could see that he's unhappy and, you know, he's upset that he's not playing from the first moment until 19 minutes. But this is life, and, you know, life is a art of choices, and mostly those choices are on coach side. So I'm sure that the relations between Flick and Lewandowski is good, even if sometimes Flick is making decisions which are not, you know, making Lewandowski's happy. But I believe that they know how to cooperate for more than next few months. And I believe that maybe it's going to be a reason why Robert will stay in Barcelona for one more season. Because I'm sure that if there is a coach in the whole world who could make that, you know, Lewandowski will be a top scorer again, is Hansi Flick. And it should not be Lewandowski from 2022 or 2021. It could be a new Lewandowski. Not running that much, smarter, saving energy, but in the box is still a killer. So when Robert Lewandowski is in the box, you can expect goals. And you could see this in last weeks. The only thing is to manage him on the right way. And Hansi Flick is the right man to do it, I'm sure.
Even though, Sebastian, you have a lot of experience in the field of researching, writing, still though you've been surprised or something changed for you in terms of perspective about big clubs or star players when we talk about influence?
You know, the only thing which I understood during work with the book is that small clubs and big clubs are mostly same organism. I will check a word because I'm not sure if this is a right. Just a second. Why it's not? No. I will answer again.
Okay.
For that question. I have I had some huge Wi-Fi problem in work when I'm working, and I see that here is also some issue. No, organism. Yeah, this is a organism. Okay, so yes. The thing which I understand during work with that book is that, you know, those small clubs and big clubs, it's mostly same organism. The only thing which is different is the size, but everything is happening on the same way. I mean, you know, everywhere are people, and people has some ideas, some bad days, some disadvantages, and they're making mistakes as well. They're making mistakes in Barcelona, in Real Madrid, in Bayern, and also in small clubs like, I don't know, in Spain, Getafe or Real Valladolid. So and same with footballers. And but what I understand really well is that something which you need to have to be in this hugest club like Barça or Real is a way of handling pressure, because uh, it's also about Robert. Wojtek Szczęsny, who is a goalkeeper
Yes.
of FC Barcelona, and he knows Robert really well, also from national team. He told me, he's odd, he's different than us, because those kind of players, and Wojtek Szczęsny was playing with Cristiano Ronaldo, with Giorgio Chiellini, with Thierry Henry in Arsenal. They are living under 8,000 meters when there is a dead zone and everybody is dead there, and
Yes.
they are living there, and it was a metaphor of professional football on the highest level. So the sentence is, it helped me to understand why some people on this football top are like they are. And this is also about Robert. You need to be a little bit crazy to be there. You need to be a little bit machine to be there. And this is about everybody. This is about presidents, about coaches, and about football players as well. Also about workers in the club, because the pressure is crazy. So, in that book, I show many situations which you can describe as a bad behavior of Robert, of bad words of Robert, or he did something wrong. But, it could look like that from our human perspective, from our position. But if you are looking from this position of, someone who is there under this 8,000 meters, maybe it should be like that. Maybe this is necessary. Maybe without this, you could not be where you are. And this is also a sentence which Robert is telling me in that book. Yeah, maybe I had a problem with empathy, but I'm not sure if I would be where I am without those problems, because the disadvantages in the regular life, it were advantages in the football life. So yeah, this is the answer I found during work with that book.
I mean, I'm really glad you just mentioned about the empathy problem, and how the path in Barcelona for Robert Lewandowski had mixed emotions, we could say, no? Um, would you say like the player regretted someday or at some point about joining Barcelona, or would you say it was a truly he was quite believing in the project, in the club, in everything, and he didn't regret it?
You mean Lewandowski?
Yeah.
Oh no. Transfer to Barcelona changed his life.
Okay.
If you will ask him one day what was the best football decision in his life, I'm sure he could pick this day when he decided to go to Barcelona. And it's not only about football, because of course he won some trophies. He was double champion. He was in semi-final of Champions League. He won Trofeo Pichichi. But it's more about life, about sun, about food, about sea, about his family, about people's energy. I remember when Robert told me that very big surprise to him was behavior of Xavi, who came to him on the very beginning and just hug him like son is hugging his father. And it was something which Robert never find out in Germany, because German are cold. They are not behaving on the way like Spanish. And this was something special for Lewandowski, because when you are in 34 and you are already one of the best player in the history of football, you're an icon. What could be new? You already won Champions League. You already won so many championships in the league. You could win next game or you could lose next game, whatever. But this humans behavior, those humans relations, it was a surprise to Robert.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm thinking about him during this period when he moved from Germany to Spain as someone in Ice Cube. And when this Ice Cube came to Spain, because of the sun, it started to melt. And I don't know if it melted, until the end. If it melted until the end. Maybe it's still in progress. But I'm sure we are much, much closer to this nice Robert Lewandowski, not only professional Robert Lewandowski, but also nice Robert Lewandowski. And the second thing which helped a lot is the dressing room of Barcelona, with so many young players, with Ansu Fati, Xavi, Lamine Yamal, Pedri, and a few others nice young players. Because if you are looking at Robert in this first and second season, he was a senior. Maybe Martinez and Lewandowski, there was two seniors guys, then Ter Stegen, let's say, three seniors, but he was a senior, and they were like a child for them, for him as well.
Yeah,
But because of that, I'm sure they sent to him this young energy, this fresh energy, and it also helped him to feel a little bit like, to have a pleasure of being in dressing room, not only being because he have to be because he's professional football player, but also pleasure of being there. You're coming with a smile, you heard these jokes, you see this young smile faces, and you say to yourself like, whoa, it's nice to be here. Yeah, it's really nice to be here. So I think that he's not regretting at all, and he's thanking God every day that he make this decision because of these human parts of life. And if we add this professional part, it was like a perfect choice.
I would really like to highlight, because the fact you just said about a young dressing room, and if we see Robert Lewandowski's career, he was in Bayern, which was a well-constructed team with stars like Robben, Ribéry. He shared with a dressing room with a lot of players from stars. When he came to Barcelona, he was in a project of reconstruction, right? Where he has a lot of young teammates. How would you say young teammates influenced Robert Lewandowski and surprised him the most?
I think that the most important thing, it was that energy.
Yeah.
But the very beginning of relations between Robert and young players was not so easy, let's say, because he's demanding guy, and he was demanding many things from them. And as I said before, the German physical preparation and the German work style, let's say, it's different than Spanish. So he was sometimes surprised how they are working, and they were not working so hard. And he was expecting that they will be, because this is like a new generation, and new generation need to work hard. Not senior is someone who need to take this all weight on his shoulders. Also the young ones. So he was pushing them like, hey guys, work harder, run faster, do more. And on the beginning they were like, what do you want from us? Why you are screaming? Joan Laporta, President Joan Laporta told me that on the beginning there were jokes about Lewandowski and about the screaming, because young players, they were not ready to understand what he wants from them. But I think that very important moment was when Hansi Flick came to Barcelona, and he makes meetings first with Robert, and he told him, Robert, the fact that they are 18, 19, and 20, it doesn't mean that they are child. Look what they are doing on the pitch. They are superstars. They are an important part of our team. You cannot treat them as a child, because they are not. They are from biology way of looking, but not football way of looking. They were adults, and then he had a meeting with the young players and said, guys, this is Robert Lewandowski. He achieved everything in football. You need to respect him. If he is pushing you, he's not pushing you because, he's like that. He's pushing you because he has this winning obsession. He want to win everything. So respect that, because at least we are on the same boat, and, we are going in the same direction. And it was a moment when Barcelona played the most amazing season from the I don't know, maybe also like 5-6 years. It was a season with championship and with the Champions League semifinal.
Yeah,
because two sides understand finally each other. The beginning wasn't easy because, you know, for Robert, it was a new culture and new players and new mentality. The same for those young players. But right now, if I'm looking at the team and if I'm looking at the behaviors, if I'm looking at the celebration, I'm sure that they are team. They are team. Which, if we are speaking about young players and Robert, they were not that much in the first season.
And well, finally, Sebastian, this was the interview. I hope you really had a really peaceful time talking, and
Yeah, of
hope
course.
you understand me at least with my English.
Yeah, no. You were really well prepared. So it was a big pleasure. I hope that you will find out something from that interview, which will be interesting to you. I hope that it was not boring one.
No, 100%. It was really good, and I hope when it has the Spanish translation or English at least, I will read the book. I read the book 100%.
Yeah. We are speaking with some Spanish publisher. I think that in the middle of December, I'm going to Barcelona because I will have some meetings there. So let's see when, but I hope that it will be like in the next few months because, you know, the translation is just taking time. But I really hope that it will be soon, and yeah, I think that you will get one.